So about a month ago, we watched the Hell House LLC trilogy in preparation for Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor.
Yeah.
And tonight, we got to watch that very film. Now, this film will be on Shudder in 2 days. So it will be there on the 30th for those who are not watching this the second it drops. Shame on you. And this time we are getting ourselves away from the Abaddon Hotel. And we're moving ourselves over to, yes, you guessed it, the Carmichael Manor.
Yep.
It is funny, too, because if you do look at the poster looks like Michael Myers, the mask. And it says Carmichael. It should have been the Carmichael Myers.
Carmichael Myers Manor. Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah. So this time we follow a group. There's 3 of them. Is that a group? How much do you have to have a
trio?
group? A trio. I like that. There you go. That's accurate.
Yeah.
So we follow a trio of cold case investigators, and they are investigating a murder and some disappearances at the Carmichael Manor, something that happened back in the 80s. Now, much like the Hell House LLC movies, this one is told through a mockumentary style of, we've found their footage and they've compiled this footage for us and are talking about said events in the documentary about their found footage.
Yeah.
So this is, people are like, oh, they get super anal about like what is found footage and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a film about found footage.
Yes.
So while it technically might not be found footage, it's found footage. To me, that's all the same. Yeah. Like mockumentary, whatever, that's found footage.
Yeah, I agree.
If everything is done like fourth wall breaking and the majority of the footage is filmed by the people that were watching.
Yeah. That's
freaking found footage. Anyway, so, okay, getting to the point. The first Hell House LLC is great. Definitely one of the more beloved found footage films. Mm-hmm. And part 2 and 3 for us especially just do not live up to the first one in the slightest. And this was one that I was excited about because it looked like we were going back to the basics, right? We weren't going to try to overdo it with exposition and too much plot and whatnot, right?
Right.
It was really writing itself into a corner in part 2, and then in the third one, it just got so off the rails. So to see this one where they're getting away from the Abaddon and we're going to a new location, we're talking about completely new events and characters and whatever. So, did this film successfully move itself away from the problems of 2 and 3? Yes. But, okay, so the director of this is obviously very obsessed with his own franchise at this point. He's made 4 of these freaking things in a row, and he just can't move away. Because for me, honestly, I feel like this one would be better if it was not connected to the Hell House movies.
I agree.
I didn't really see a big reason of why this needed to be. I don't hate that it is, but... So in the first film, we are introduced to these clowns. And they're the staple of the franchise, right? The clowns that are in this are the Michael Myers, the Jason Voorhees, whatever, of this franchise. It's the thing that we recognize most. And weirdly, we were just at a little horror con thing tonight. And I was thinking, when I'm looking at all of the different cosplay that people were wearing, or that we were wearing, we were Michael and Lori. We never see anyone dressed up as that clown.
Yeah.
which is a shame. But anyway, okay. So the films in the past, the clown was really creepy and effective in the first film.
Yes.
But my God, they rely on this clown so much in 2 and 3, and once again here in the Carmichael Manor.
Yeah.
Right? So
very heavily relied on.
It's used exactly the same way as it is in the other ones.
Yes.
And it is probably responsible for 50% of the creep factor, scare, setups, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same. He's standing there. They look away. They look back. His head's moved a little. And they're like, wait, what? And they go over here. And then like he's over here. And they pan back. And he's moved a little bit. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
They've done it. You've got to move away from this shtick. Yes, it's creepy. But it gets old. Yeah. It's just... I've seen it so much. And maybe if it was a new clown, right, or a new entity or something, I wouldn't be so like, oh, this is... But because I know it's the same director, I'd probably be like, oh, he's just doing the clown thing again in a different outfit. But when it's the exact same clown, it's kind of like, right?
Yeah.
So that was a problem. I want to hear your thoughts for sure, but...
yeah, I mean, like you said, I was very excited, you know, for this film, like for the potential, but I didn't end up liking it. And I think, I do think that it's an improvement from 2 and 3 as far as like the acting goes, that the acting was much better, like back to like the first Hell House, like level. Yeah. So I did like that, but I don't know. I think, for me, having it connected to the Hell House like trilogy is what made it bad for me, because I just found that there was no real reason for it to be connected, and it just kept kind of trying to
connect itself
to it, and I just felt like there was too much time wasted on that. Like, I didn't care. I wanted to know more about the Carmichael family. I feel like not enough of that is explored. And I didn't like the balance there. I thought that it was really like skewed, and I found that the scares were very repetitive of the first, like all, like throughout the trilogy. And yeah, as much as I love clowns, and I love scary and creepy clowns, and I do really love the way that those clowns look, I did not like that was like the main thing in this.
Yeah.
I just felt that it was boring. Honestly. I thought I was pretty bored throughout the film. And I wish I wasn't, because like I said, I think that the acting was good. And I think that the writing as far as like the dialogue and everything was good too. I just don't like the story. I don't think that it doesn't feel like a necessary story to be told.
I'm higher on it than you, for sure. I liked it. I just felt like it really bent over backwards to try its hardest to connect itself to other films that it just did not need to.
Yeah.
And the characters in this, while well acted, it's really honestly like, this isn't a spoiler exactly. It isn't, but maybe you could find it to be one, sort of. So we've got a gay couple, and they're interracial too, right? Oh shit, wow, people are really gonna be pissed. But they are, right? Yeah. Okay, I was like, am I okay? No, okay, but. So basically it is the one girlfriend is asking the other girlfriend, or telling the other girlfriend she wants to leave. And the other girlfriend is telling her why she needs to stay, or begging her to stay, or whatever. And then the one who wants to stay's brother is there, and he doesn't really want to get into the middle of it, but is mostly on the side of the girl who wants to leave, but loves his sister. And the clown kind of comes in and scares them. Rinse, lather, repeat.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, we need to leave. No, let's stay. Okay, one more night. Clown scare. We need to leave. No, please. Okay, we'll stay. Clown scare. And it's like,
it's so repetitive.
Come on, man. Come on.
And I also think that there are some believability issues, which with found footage, like we talk about, there needs to be a good motivation for why you're filming. Like, and I think that there's an okay one that starts out with this, but then after a point, I'm like, okay, I don't really believe that there would be a continuation to film. And also, I do think that the like motivation to be convincing people to stay, I found that to be really flimsy and just like very unbelievable that, you know, I just didn't buy it. So for me, like all of those things just make this film, and it is probably because I did end up having kind of high expectations for it. Like I was really hopeful for it because the first Hell House is so cool and great. But I don't know. I think that at this point, I feel like with these 3 extra films, I don't feel like it should continue. I think that the material is going downhill. For me,
it's not going downhill with this one, because this for me is easily the best one since the first one. I definitely like this more than 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And even though I feel like the connections in this do feel forced, as far as like, I wish the plot didn't go in that direction, I thought lore-wise and story-wise, this one did more for the first one than 2 and 3 did. I liked the reveal of something. I can't say. I don't want to say any of that stuff, but I like the stuff we find out here that links to the Abaddon. I think because it's smaller scale, because it feels in line with the first movie. Because this one is it's brought down considerably to a much more grounded film than the second, and especially the third. The third gets so ludicrous. But this one was like, I feel like he listened and he brought it back to the basics, and I think he relied very heavily on his franchise brand name and his character, right? Because like, I mean, we're sitting here as Halloween fans, right? And we have 12 Michael Myers films at this point, right? And I know there's 13, but Myers ain't in the third one. And in every film, it's just kind of like Michael coming out of the darkness to stab people.
Sure.
Right? Over and over and over and over again. And I'm sitting here clapping all the way through it. So he had his Michael Myers. He had his character that everyone recognizes and a shtick that works for people.
Yeah.
And he just relies on that. I would implore the director or writer of this franchise to just explore other options. I think you have a better, like, original project in you. I think it's time to put this one to sleep. I think you've done as much as you need to do with this franchise. You've done some really cool stuff, and you've done some not so great stuff. And it's time to just say, okay, like I did my story. I told everything that I needed to tell in this. Now it's time for me to find a new thing and just kind of try to create new ideas, because this one really is just like, it's borrowing elements from everything from before.
Yeah, it's really recycled. But I think if you're like, for people that are fans of Hell House, like of the trilogy, I think that this is definitely a film for you to watch. Like, I think you will, like you said, it is an improvement. And I actually do agree with you, weirdly. I do think this is probably the best film since the original. So it's funny because I'm like,
you didn't like 2 or 3 really much at all.
Yeah. So, but I do think that it's worth a watch if you're a fan of the series. But it is not one, like, if you are, obviously, I don't know why, like, you shouldn't watch it if you haven't seen the other 3, or at least the first one, at the very least.
Yeah.
And it isn't a film that, if you're not into found footage, that will make you become into found footage.
Yeah. The house they have is big and has a lot, to explore. And I don't feel like that's utilized very well.
I agree. I thought the location was cool, and I was like, ooh, okay. There's like, because you even said, you're like, this place is huge. Like, early on, you really get a sense of it, and it's isolated, and that's very prominent to the story, but it's not. It doesn't feel utilized at all.
Yeah.
It feels like a waste.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're somebody who like loves 1, 2, and 3, then absolutely, I think you're gonna really enjoy this.
For sure.
Right. So if you're like a big, massive fan of the franchise, you should be pleased. But if you're somebody who's like, I just felt like the franchise has just become recycled, and that they overuse that clown, then you're gonna probably be upset because this is that again.
It is. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much more to say.
Better acting, better characters.
Yes.
Cool to see a new location. Connects better to the first one for me without going overboard.
Yeah, more grounded, like you said.
So there's positives. I think
there's for sure positives.
I don't love it, but I liked it. You don't like it.
I just didn't like it.
And that's fine.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
By any stretch.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it because I was bored.
Sure.
I was just bored. So.
But 2 days, Shudder. I know a lot of you are looking forward to this. And
check it out.
You should check it out.
Yeah, you should check it out. You might love it. Hopefully you do.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's good. I like it. I like it. So I'm on the vote.
On board.
I'm yes. She's no.
I'm no.
Let us know where you're at with
but
it when you watch
it. Yes, watch it. So.
All right. Well, there you go. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.